What up, man? See, we are in the skateboarding dojo right now. All right. And so, like, if you look over here, that's where we train at. If you look over here, that's where we train at. But the funniest part is how we need to talk about where you need to train at. A lot of people are comfortable with like fair value gaps, order blocks, and things. But when we talk about the levels, right? I don't see you at the mitigation block. You feel me? I don't see you there. This whole episode is about mitigation block. So we already know the blunt is a good actor, so hit the blunts. The biggest thing I'm trying to get you to understand, all right, is that the mitigation block is like the most underrated PD array. And it's underrated for a reason because how many times do you go on to a ICT Reddit or watch an ICT video? Everybody wants to glaze the fair value gap. Everybody wants to glaze the order block, which is cool. You can do that. But the problem is, right? I need you to do a few things. We need you to realize that, like, if you're coming into the marketplace and you are still kind of like on the fence about which PD array is the better one or like which one has like the better win rate or whatever the case is, it's not really about that. It's actually a more personal experience. For a second, I was so fried. I'm like, that spelled personal correctly? Yeah, I did. Anyway, so I'm looking for again, we're on the you guys love to glaze NASDAQ. Make another NASDAQ video. Bro, I've made so many NASDAQ videos, I'm almost like and then my Discord wants to trade Nasdaq every day anyway, like mostly whatever, right? So it's like, dog, you know how easily you can get sick of the Nasdaq? Oh my God. That's because probably for somebody like me, I'm looking at the same structure over and over again per day. So it's quite easy for me to get bored. So the biggest thing though, I want you to get better at this. All right. So when we talk about the mitigation block, like let's start to recap. All right. So if you're familiar, all right, why is this significant? We talked about this overall structure being different from a liquidity void. Okay. Now, the reason why I drew this and my hand drawn stuff is hilarious, isn't it? Because it's actually really fucking accurate. The problem is when we go to actually engage a mitigation block, we're not sure what that looks like. You know what I mean? I'm talking about the start of it. Okay. So you're going to get to a point where you're like, yo, like I don't even really understand like what he means. Like when we're trending, yeah, it always looks like that. All right. And I understand that's the common um thought people have when you first learn or even watch that video about the mitigation block. You start to not really give that much of a fuck about it because you're like, oh, I mean, that's kind of cool. But this is my point. The mitigation block does a lot more than what meets the eye. Okay. And so without you being Optimus Prime, you can figure this out. I'm telling you. The key point about your mitigation block is that yes, it's a Stairmaster 3000, bullish or bearish. But the main point to this little thing here, I want to point out something that we talked about way, way long ago in season one. All right. Mitigation block has a trendy state and a non-trendy state. What the fuck does that mean? What the fuck does that mean? That means that you can literally go see our Stairmaster 3000 bullish or bearish, or you can get met with a complete consolidation. See this? This here? Yeah. Mm-hmm. It sucks, doesn't it? What do we call that? Trendy state mitigation block. I just disappeared like a fucking vampire. Non-trendy state. MB. The reason why I point this out to you, you're going to get to a point where you're like, okay, algorithmically, I understand the mitigation block. Even on your dealing range, you understand it has a gold back level, doesn't it? Mhm. So, what the fuck do you expect? Right? So, I'm trying to give you two different perspectives on something. Now, you'll notice something very interesting. Okay. You'll get to a point where you're looking at certain levels, you're looking at certain times, right? So, right now, we're on the 1 minute. So, we're going to leave this little thing for us up here. Right? We're going to take that. We'll get rid of this other shit. All right. So we'll come back. But this is what I want you to see. All right. Watch this. You trade on Friday. If you did, you might be interesting in a few perspectives that were pretty interesting there. Now I'm gonna remove this, Lord. Now, this is my thing, all right? Let's check this out. When I get back down to an hour time frame and we look at what the fuck is going on, you'll realize why I said what I said. And you're like, Jay, what the fuck is a non-trendy state mitigation block? That the fuck? It's not going anywhere. That's my basic point. You're going to get to a mitigation block level where you start to realize, hey, hold on, this does not feel fun. And you're going to get that step ladder effect. It is up, down, aggregating. But at the same time, you're going to get to a point where it's only taking out short term liquidity. And it still plays the game of what we talked about with Asia versus London versus New York. So when are you going to get a move that breaks that non-trendy state? So New York, but the problem is you don't even get it in New York AM. We don't move till New York PM. Well, is that fucking annoying for you or what? Because you also came to the marketplace on the Friday. uh, you would have figured out these right here. You would have figured out these motherfucker not moving. Why? Why? Check this out. When we're talking about whole day, what level are you on? What level? MB. You are also on the EQ. What does this do for you? That is the function of the EQ, dog. If you come to the marketplace trying to expect everything to just distribute, you're fucking up. Why do you want to trade better levels? Trade more interesting levels. How about that? Why do you think today was more fun? Yeah, you get my point. Now, we talked about the liquidity void here. Liquidity void always does its job. But the problem is, I want you to get to a point where MBs are not fucking you over, my guy. What do we talk about when we have a non-trendy state? You're going to see something that's in a mitigation block level and it's going to look like dog shit. And it might actually last a long time if you're going to view it on one of your bigger PO3s. So 2187, 729 is going to produce a session long, day long, fucking uh, mostly consolidated visual for you. So when you're looking at something like this, we get one target here in Asia taken, or that's technically, yep, Asia still. London kill zone, but still Asia technically. But even down here with some of the stuff here, okay, I want you to catch my drift. All right. And when I say catch my drift, I want you to start being able to take fucking you know, fucking jet skis up here instead of trying to take the fucking Titanic move. And what I mean by Titanic move is every time you're trying to get in, bitch, you're fucking sinking. Your profits are sinking before you even take a profitable trade. You have to lower your attempts. And so the reason why I wanted to basically make sure that you understand why we have some of these things in place. So yes, when we talk about this whole down move, right? We understand it's coming from a liquidity void. But when we talk about like a trendy state mitigation block, here we're on a 15-minute chart for reference, okay? So what level is this for reference, right? MB. Every time I think about MB, I think about every time I'm buying weed and I buy motor breath. And me and my friends we always call the motor breath strain the B. So every time like I think about the mitigation block, I think about that weed, and it's just like such a funny reminder. And like, bro, really thinking back to like how I learned all this stuff, bro. Like, again, this is one of the most unpopular PD arrays. When in fact it should be the opposite way around. How many videos on YouTube talk about how banging the fucking mitigation block is? And we're talking about like real, again, assigning this to always two functions for you. It's going to be trendy state versus, and I'm using the bigger ones so you can see my point, non-trendy state. Dog shit. Straight dog shit. But remember, these are both MB discount premium MB. Okay? Discount MB. And that, ladies and gentlemen, this dog shit, what do we call it? Non-trendy state. And again, right? It doesn't mean the marketplace is not efficient or not doing what it's supposed to do. It's supposed to do that. These are functions of this. So when we talk about what's also actually happening here, when you get to this price swing here, and this is your Thursday, okay? Let's lock in. Let's lock in. All right. So we're on a 15-minute time frame, but since we know the MB starts here, we're about to keep this whole price swing in mind, okay? So pop down to a 5. I want to show you this. All right. What do we talk about? All right. So the MB is trendy state. What is it doing that you notice? And again, I'm giving you the 5 minute time frame perspective first before we go downward. And the reason why we do it like that is so I can give you kind of like a uh, here, we'll even lock it. Trying to give you a certain perspective. Because when we talk about like that Stairmaster 3000, right? It's not really breaking highs. A mitigation block by functionality is unable to take the wrong direction's liquidity once it activates. You might not have heard what I just said. Oh, you need to get to a certain point where you're understanding what you're looking at. I told you the MB starts here, right? So what is it not able to really do? It's not able to take the wrong direction's liquidity. Your MB is like this, right? At the most extreme, it's going to be like that, right? But what is it doing? It's protecting all of these highs. You got some smaller ones down here, right? But this is my thing, right? Once you understand where your mitigation block is, what are you doing? You could literally just sell retracement points in a sell move, keeping it simple like that. My Discord and my students know some other gems about the MB that I can't speak on right here out of respect for them. But at the same time, I could always come and give you some basic function. And especially because this is the same thing, bullish and bearish. So when we're talking about the trendy state mitigation block, and yes, I have ways to know which one is which and when to expect it. But the problem is when you're not operating from the algorithm's perspective and only your own, you're not able to feel like you're fully synced up to even anticipate a move visually like this. And someone else is like, oh, well, what is this? And I understand your perspective, but at the same time, I want you to get into um I like trades with damn near, you know, really, really steep angles, I'll say. I'll keep it very simple. But my thing is when you are trading like this, right? You're still getting worried that the thing is going to retrace. And even if it does, is this threatening you? If you're up here, is any of this threatening? No. And you also notice how you realize that you're in a mitigation block. No, you do not need full ass tops and bottoms all the time. And when I measure it, even just from here, bro, that's plenty of space, plenty of size, bro. 2300 ticks right from there. You're not missing a damn thing. And this is not till 11:30 in the morning. 11:24 to be exact. Come on now. But the problem is, what do we really care about? You can sell it right up to this 11:36. You're not missing anything. You're not. I also have a few things I wanted to show you, right? So once we are on that 3 minute chart, how we were on, let's go back and view it on a 1 minute. Should be interesting. Especially because we talk about this the Friday. We talk a lot about like visually how PD arrays look in general. So again, right? We understand that the mitigation block, I'll type it out for you. If you're sell side, it's not going to be coded to really take out like core highs. It's not looking to do that. It's going to be stuck on one side, similar to a liquidity void. If you need another gem about the MB, I almost said LB. Remember, Hoppy gave you the gem. So make sure you go and read about it. You understand exactly what I mean about how to find a PD array when you want to. If you know, you know. So I'm not going to spoil it on this video, but the thing is, it's not coded to take the wrong directions of liquidity. All right. It's not coded to do that. Now, my thing is, when I say that, you have to understand that word we've been talking about, my guy. Order flow. You need to have the order flow. All right. If you're feeling like you don't have a clear like view on the shit, you're gonna feel like, okay, shit. And B could fucking just fuck this shit, man. It's not helpful for me. I don't know. You don't know what direction to focus on. So if you don't know where your targets are, if you don't know where your high of the session or high of the day is, it's not gonna feel like any of this stuff is helpful quite yet. And yes, we do have the same thing everywhere. So it is fractal. It's not like it's just on the 5 minute or just on the daily chart. You'll get to a point where, now watch. Let's say we talk about smaller levels, right? So for example, we talked about the 2187. Let's pull it down. 243. It's not the smallest one, but it's not the biggest one. But even if we go to like a pretty current market, let's pop down here. Let me show you some stuff now. We talk about a mitigation block, yeah? Do you see how we've been playing around in this 81 right here? Now, you also notice that it's still kind of manipulation, so don't get used to being on the 81 for hella long, right? But you're going to get to a point where, now watch this. Where's our MB? What do we talk about? Is this a trendy state or a non-trendy state? And I said something earlier, and I want to put you on one more time. When you start to get the non-trendy state, MB, and basically it clashes with the EQ a certain way, you're going to feel like this is very difficult to deal with. You're going to feel like, dude, this thing will not stop. I know. You might have even been bullish from here. You know what I mean? So you might have actually bought that. And so you might feel on top of the world right there, especially because you got, a couple hundred ticks or whatever. But at the same time, these are also monstrously smaller than our um, current vibe, right? This is the only candle that we see that is 100 ticks plus right there. A lot of these are feeling more kind of back to normal for now, but do not get used to that. I'm telling you, it's going to be like this for a while with these 100 plus tick 1 minute candles. You need to really be careful. So that's what I mean. If you're stuck in a mitigation block, this stuff right now is relaxed because we're on the 81. It's not that big. Exactly. You got 40 points a candle. You know what I mean? On average. But my whole thing is when you are dealing with 100 plus, listen, bro. I'm talking per candle. You don't even have time to think before you are closing for a massive loss, and that literally is seconds in between attempts. So in order to get your ideas up and your attempts down, you need to get to a point where you understand how these things move. So when we talk about like how to anticipate, um, and again, time plays the biggest role. So notice how, and I can give you the level again, okay, just so you're clear. Every single time, the level that we're going to use is this mitigation block. But this one is going to be right above or right underneath your EQ level. And that's why it's also a tough, it's just literally where it's placed in on the media rate matrix. And so they put it in order with other, I mean, visually, your dealing range is the order of the matrix. Now, it feel like the motherfucking matrix reloaded at this point, but this is the thing, right? Once we pass through this mitigation block level, look at the vibe. Okay. We have power of three liquidity here. And again, this is your PM session for yesterday. All right. So I'm gonna drive this up really quick. Let's check this out. So I want you to see these mitigation block levels. All right. Show you how the fuck we do shit. All right. So notice the vibe, all right? Mitigation block level. All right. And then let's check the one above too. Just, oh, oh, you see my point, man. I love algorithms so much, man. And people ask me all the time, like, you know, how'd you get good at this stuff? Like, what is the secret? Practice. And it's like I used to feel like Allen Iverson, bro. Like I'm from Philly. And I'd be like, practice. The fuck y'all talk about practice? Like, I'm broke, motherfucker. I need money. Y'all talking to me about practice. Just show me the damn move. I'm putting the whole money on the account on this shit. And I'm gonna be a millionaire my motherfucking Tuesday. And this is just my mindset, my first 3 years of trading. I was sadly mistaken. We've all made that mistake. You feel me? And what's happening? I had to be dedicated. And that dedication came in the form of me literally used to go out with my friends at fucking parties. I'd be on my phone, literally in the middle of a fucking rave, trying to teach myself how to find breakers and mitigation block. It was 4 o'clock in the morning at the fucking party, and I'm like this, like literally passing blunts throughout my friends, and I'm like, yo, yeah, yeah, yeah. I'm chilling with the DJs because they're all the DJs, right? But I'm behind a DJ booth, just literally on my phone looking at fucking Bitcoin at 4 o'clock in the morning. Like, yo, like I can't slack, bro. Vacation, man. This is the type of stuff that I was interested in. I need to be able to use the breaker mitigation block better. It's clean, but you got to understand trendy state versus non-trendy state and what that looks like for you. What does this look like? Like, obviously, it's a time to trade, right? Got it. So outside of this, you see how like these little boxes here start all of my mitigation block levels. All right. So go back, mitigation block level, and hold up. Let's just get it accurate. Okay. So right here, we got breaker level. Right here, down. So that's our mitigation. And let's drag it again. We got, well, this one's liquidity, so we'll change a color and whatnot. And then we got mitigation block again. And you're going to remember what we just talked about, right? What do we say it's not coded to do? Why did I use that word coded in the first place? Algorithms, man. Stick with me now. All right. Now, in order for you to not be Georgia the fucking jungle, all right, you need some organization here. You need to do a few things. Let me get out the way. You need to be able to see what? Fair value gap. You have internal range, short term liquidity. We take that out like a fucking bowling ball. You get sent into a mitigation block. Now, when the mitigation block starts, you're also at 19,000. All right. If you know, you know. All right. I'm not going to explain why that price is more significant than other pricing. Anyway, you're getting down here. As soon as you see the start, what's it look like? What does it tell you? Stairmaster 3000, ain't it? Down, up, down, down. B, motherfucker. What also does it do? Do any of these points take out liquidity at all? You tell me. No, the fuck it don't. It's no liquid, bro. Hey, cool, isn't it? That's not my point. What my point is, I want you to get to a point where you can sit there and narrate what PD Array is actually running functionality wise in the marketplace at the time. Therefore, you will sit there and know when retracements will be actually applied, when they're going to not retrace this bitch, or when they're going for a, I'll call it like this, right? Since we're in manipulation. Yo, shout out my guy John Wick. He came up with like a definition for what we call a retraceable. It's literally the halfway definition of a reversal. It's kind of like a retracement that feels like a reversal, right? Manipulation shit. It's far as fuck, but it's not really like changing macro bias, right? It's not dominant. You know what I mean? Retraceable. We call that. And it's the thing, right? I want you to get to a point about a few things. Watch this. Let's go back. What did we talk about? That was a trendy state. We're also looking at sessions, so time in general, right? So obviously it's Asia right now. Okay. Pull it up to a 5 minute. And again, like I said, we're playing around with that 81. This was a non-trendy state mitigation block. You do get a few moves, but what do these areas all not do? Once you make it here, what does it do? Do you actually take out the buy side liquidity before you reach the low? Nope. Buy side liquidity is protected. But again, your mitigation block by functionality, if you're really on the right side of the marketplace, your MB is going to be very respectful of the dominant direction. And especially because a lot of people can't fucking figure out like what the fuck this shit is supposed to do. And so I understand a lot of people, and I'm not even just talking about Judas Swing right now, but I'm just talking about like how you are presented information inside of any dealing range. So if you're actually inside of a certain level, what are you supposed to do? What visual are you expecting on that level? And again, I'm talking about mitigation blocks. You're probably really only concerned with the classic order block, the classic fair value gap, your just getting into LVs because you're probably watching my channel too much. And you're also into, I mean, I love rejection blocks, and it's up to you to get better at rejection blocks. But my thing is, get better at the LV, man. Expect how to trade it better. And so once you get into other core concepts, it almost feels like a waste to not be good at this because a lot of people have that fear of retracement or fear of reversal every 10 seconds, but it's not even just a mitigation block that does it, but real distribution is really a can be um, V's put together, to be honest. And you'll have obviously like we talked about this before. The breaker and the mitigation block are like brother and sister. They're two peas in a pod. You're never going to see one without the other. It doesn't work that way. So, however you try to view your mitigation block, the way I'm giving it to you, like we talked about in season one, you're going to be met with that automatic breaker. You feel me? You know what I'm saying? Impeccable drawing skills. Boy, you nice. This is the shit I was drawing when I was in the fucking literal mosh pit on my fucking phone trying to find breakers on Bitcoin. Like, this shit was crazy. And like I said, bro, you got to be dedicated. If you do not want to sit down and learn all this shit, bless your heart. Okay. I understand more people want to be mechanical, right? Yo, well, I only take order blocks, bro. I don't give a fuck about this shit. Okay. Have that perspective. That's all you, brother. I love all of these PD arrays. Sometimes, you get good, you get bored. Sometimes I don't feel like trading order blocks. I'm not forced to. Sometimes I don't feel like trading gaps. I'm not forced to. If I only want to trade LVs and MBs for a month straight, then I'll fucking do that. Or if I don't want to do neither and just want to do CRT trading, I'll do that shit too. Oh, behind low close. Get the job done. Shit. My thing is creativity, right? We talk about that all the time. How are you being creative? How are you being creative? And on top of that, we'll start talking about go back mirroring. Okay. So we have more of that coming up for the weekend shit. I just wanted to touch on real quick about mitigation blocks um, on your bigger dealing range, okay, versus your smaller dealing range, okay. Now the thing is, we talked about the 2187. I'm telling you now, if you see that you're in a session or a day and you're floating between that MB and that EQ, you might just want to wait for that motherfucker to break out of either side. It's going to piss you off that that thing is just acting literally wild. The mitigation block is going to be in a non-trendy state. And it's also going to play around because the EQ's functionality is just straight up consolidation by nature. And the breaker has a reversal function. So what the fuck? So if you're playing between breaker to breaker or MB to MB or like, I'm not gonna say EQ to EQ because that's just a full trade. But what I'm talking about is just being aware of what? PD arrays, motherfucker. Like you gotta be able to understand functionality of not just gap, not just order block. Maybe you should go to a rave and just sit on your phone. I don't know. Nah, but I got you, man. Don't worry. And what's funny is there's a lot of videos on this channel, but there'll still not be more information than in my mentorship and in my Discord. So there's only limited spots open for the Discord. It's very limited. So um I already hit you back if you're on my wait list, but just come for a session, bro. Just come for a session. All right. It's way easier. We can hang out for a couple hours. We'll talk. Okay. But the only thing is, I want you to learn this shit for yourself. It's easy. There's just so much information I can give you because, well, this stuff is so fun, man. It makes you want to shout out the fucking rooftops. But, you know, you'll get to a point in your trading where this shit's not hard, bro. Keep working at it. Leaving you with a positive message this time, right? Hmm. I'll see you guys tomorrow. Glasses all fucked up. Peace. Oh, that was corny, wasn't it? No, 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 no. That was corny. That was corny. All right, we're gonna smoke the rest of this. And real quick reminder: don't watch the movie The Lobster.